A short time ago, in a land not so far from your own, an educational system was formed, mirroring the image of the Industrial Revolution. Schools were designed in the factory model. They were made with separate facilities, they specialized in separate subjects, and they educated students in batches based on age. The system focused on standardizing specialized areas in a manner that allowed each batch of students to finish their education with similar skills. The standardization of education has led to a decline in students' ability to think creatively. This creativity crisis may ultimately cause a decline in innovative thinking, which may result in societies that are ill-prepared to face the challenges of a rapidly advancing future.
Here is what a typical day at school for a student looks like. You go to school, you greet your friends, you go to your first class, you listen to your teacher's lecture, write down some notes, complete some assignments, and pick up the homework from your teacher's desk. Take this and multiply it by the number of classes you have per day. Then multiply this number by 2,160 for the number of school days you have to go through in 12 years. It's time to admit it. School is boring. Teachers attempt to spruce up the idea of school in the hopes of getting students to enjoy a monotonous routine that even they criticize. It's time to turn this crisis around. But what if this process had already started? In a small college town called Columbia, Missouri, a group of high school students and their teachers are making extraordinary impacts on the education system. We call ourselves Project C.R.E.A.T.E.
As we began to address the idea that school has become a dull and tedious chore, we are forced to confront the challenge of an educational system that is set in its ways. On top of that, we discovered that our nation is facing a creativity crisis. The gargantuan task of restructuring the manner in which educational instruction is delivered can be perceived as an extremely overwhelming task. However, students within this system find themselves rebelling against both the manner in which information is delivered and how their learning is assessed. This fault does not lie on the shoulders of teachers, but rather on the centuries' worth of educational theory that created our modern system. A Newsweek article entitled "The Creativity Crisis" examined results of Dr. E. Paul Torrance's studies on creativity. The Torrance test of creativity has been administered to young people for over 50 years and has revealed some stunning results. In this article, journalists Merriman and Bronson reveal that both creativity and IQ scores continued to rise from 1958 through the late 1980s. However, Kyung-hee Kim of the College of William and Mary looked at data for over 300,000 students and found that since 1990, there has been a steady decline. The most alarming data is that this decline is most prevalent among our youngest students, those in kindergarten through 6th grade. Other countries around the world have identified the need for innovative thinkers and have recognized the need to increase creative thinking in their educational systems.
On the Encyclopedia Britannica website, an article states that creativity is decreasing for children and adults. For younger children, the decrease probably arises more significantly from their homes than from their schools, because research indicates personality development is most influenced by home environments. Supporting this theory is research that also indicates children are predominantly spending their time in front of televisions, computers, and video games, leaving little or no time to participate in creative activities. The standardized curriculum in our schools not only restricts a student's ability to express themselves creatively, but also limits exposure to the application of new technologies to help produce new ideas. Doug Dickinson, the leader of the UK's annual British Educational Training and Technology Show, talked about how today's obsession with narrow-minded, curriculum-based and mandated learning styles has taken much of the enjoyment and creativity out of schools. He states that, "We are squandering children's creativity, and we are almost wasting their childhood with this obsession with skill-based academic education." Dickinson holds a belief that with the current state of our information and communication technologies, we should have more opportunities available for students to learn creatively and interactively. Quoting Dickinson again, "We have to give children the opportunity to be creative in their world, not ours. They have opportunities to do things we never had, and we shouldn't minimize the things they do with modern technology just because we did things differently." In the end, we must provide students access to the types of activities that will ultimately create producers of creative ideas rather than simply consumers of information.
The students of Project C.R.E.A.T.E seek to encourage the trend of increasing creative thinking in schools around the world. Our small group of community problem-solving students has decided to attempt the daunting task of changing the system from the inside out by sharing this information with a global audience and simultaneously promoting an increase in opportunities for our students to think creatively in the classroom. From our point of view, this would move our educational systems beyond the obsession with the kill and drill of standardized curriculum objectives to a delivery model that would meet those same objectives through creative, innovative educational activities.
As we examine challenges related to this topic, we realize that the best way to address this problem is to focus on promoting more creative thinking in the classroom, not only in our nation, but around the world. In order to carry out our final solution, we needed to involve the major stakeholders who directly contribute to our public education system.